I said it before the game. I'll say it again. I will never watch a game rooting for the Raptors to lose. But when the game is over and the dust has settled, if I can look back on the game and say it was competitive, good fight, but it was a close loss, I'm probably walking away pretty happy. And is that how I feel about this game? We will find out in tonight's post-game show. We do content like this for every Raptors game pretty much, so make sure you support us by smashing that like button, subscribe as well to keep up to date with all that said content. But the Raptors here fall 122-121 to the Chicago Bulls. I thought maybe we'd have, for the first time this season, this is game number 27, I thought maybe for the first time this season, the Raptors would be favored going into a game home against the Bulls, but based on the injuries they've had this season, that was not going to be the case. The Raptors entered this one as plus 1.5 underdogs. They cover by half a point with a Jamal Shed buzzer-beating three. Obviously, hunting a 4-point play. Doesn't get fouled. The Bulls are smart. Don't foul them. But, yeah, it was a weird game where the Raptors led like early in the first, but like midway through the first quarter, the Bulls took the lead and had the lead for the entire rest of the game. And for most of that, it was as if, like, it was just every time you look, if you look away, you look back, the Raptors were down by 10 points. For so much, like, okay, Raptors get it down to 4. Bulls go back up to 10, down to 5, down to 6, back up to 10. The Bulls were just so consistently up by, like, exactly 10 points. Until late third, early fourth, where then they started to pull away a little bit. I went by 13, went up by 14, went up by 15 points. And it kind of felt like, okay, we've lost the ability to sustain the pace here. We're playing against the second best three-point shooting team in the NBA. We are the 29th best three-point shooting team in the NBA. There's only 30 teams in the NBA. And you're just finding it difficult to maintain that level of pace of scoring the Bulls are providing. It was supposed to be a high-scoring game. It ended up being that. The over-under here was 240. Weirdly, at halftime, it was 53-50. So the pace completely shoots up in the second half, even though the Bulls kind of faltered in the fourth quarter shooting-wise. All it took was the Bulls to kind of go cold a little bit shooting, and it allowed the Raptors an opportunity to get back in this game. And, you know, with all the lack of, let's be honest, lack of talent with this roster due to all the injuries, it was an impressive fight back. It was sparked by really players finally starting to help Gradey, trying to help RJ Barrett. It was RJ Barrett against the world for the most part in this game. He drops an pretty efficient 32 points. Fourth quarter, he finally gets some help. Sorry if you can hear my dog. Fourth quarter, he finally starts to get some help. Barrett was consistent throughout, 32 points, 9 assists, so nearly a double-double performance for him, 5 rebounds. Gradey Dick exploded in the fourth quarter. Like, he had nothing going for him in the first 3 quarters, really. Explodes in the fourth quarter, 27 points as a whole, makes the game look impressive for him, 9 of 20 shooting. Started the game 0 of 5 from 3, ends 3 of 9, so, you know, makes it look prettier for the box score. Abaji, solid effort despite the 1 of 5 shooting from 3, 15 points for him. Pirtle started the game really well. The Bulls kind of took it away, and then he went down, did the splits after slipping on the floor, out with a groin injury. Hopefully that is not serious, and he's back soon. Mobo, decent in his minutes despite the lack of points. But off the bench, major shout-outs to Jamal Shed, who plays the entire fourth quarter, and that's it. 12 minutes for him. I've been saying for a while now, like, can we start to see more of Jamal Shed, maybe even over Davion Mitchell? And, well, we got it here. He was big as part of the comeback. He's plus 10, so Raptors were plus 10 in the fourth quarter. He played all those minutes. Did not see Davion Mitchell in the fourth quarter because of Shed's good play. It's very weird for Raptors head coach Darko Rajakovic to deviate away from his pre-game set rotation. Like, even if you're playing well, the minutes say you got to come out now. Like, weird for him to deviate away from that, but did it here on a rare occasion to good avail. Jamal Shed was big. 10 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Like, if he played the whole game, I'd be pretty happy if he produced that, but he did it just in the fourth quarter. Boucher good in his minutes with statistics here, 11 points, 10 rebounds. But in the end, the effort comes a little bit too late. The Bulls had already pulled away. So despite the fact it was like a kind of ugly game, a big late three from Lonzo Ball kind of put the game a bit too far out of reach. And honestly, the Bulls controlled most of this game. I don't think the scoreline really reflects that. Raptors get hot from three late, but it took them a while to get going. And it was just too big of a mountain to climb. Possession battle, and somewhat even. We commit 5 more turnovers, but get 2 extra offensive rebounds. And the fact is, they make 14 threes. We make 9. They just get a little bit more from their three-point output. As a result, they come through with the victory. So, yeah, it's like, if I was like completely serious about winning, I'd look at some of the poor lineups. I'd look at some of the maybe decisions that went into this game, but it's tough for the roster. I think what ultimately let us down here is individual performances let us down for the first 3 quarters. Other than RJ Barrett, there wasn't a lot of help there. Had some other guys stepped up a little bit in those minutes. The game maybe goes differently, but hey, you lose by 1. You have a good fight back. You'll probably take some good moral victories, as much as that's overused from this. And despite the 7-20 record, you'll keep moving. I think at this point, like, who knows how long Jakob Poeltl's going to be out at this point. Tanking is on the horizon at some point, so does a result like this really hurt you? I don't think so. 5 losses in a row will be tough, but you have the next one coming up against Brooklyn on Thursday at home. The Raptors actually might be favored in that game. They might be favored because the Bulls played Brooklyn a week ago and were 6.5-point favorites. The Raptors might be favored against the Nets, who also just traded away Dennis Schroeder. We'll see. Then it's tough. Houston is a tough game at home. Then you're away at New York, away at Memphis, away at Atlanta, who are putting things together. Or you're home, at Atlanta, but they're putting things together. Then you're away at Boston. Then you're back home against Brooklyn again. Another game you might be favored. Then it's Orlando, Milwaukee, New York, Cleveland. Like, this is a hellish schedule here. I mean, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These next 12 games, how many wins? Like, maybe let's say you beat Brooklyn twice. Maybe you sneak out a win elsewhere. Like, realistically, they're probably winning 3 of the next 12. Puts them at a 10-32 record. Yeah, at that point, you're near the end of December. Or you're into like almost mid-January there. At that point, yeah, some serious conversations got to settle in. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm going a bit too far. Quickly might come back next week. Bruce Brown might be back next week. Barnes might be back next week, and the team looks better. But I think the inevitable is on this season, tanking will come into play at some point, and results like this are probably exactly what you should be looking for as a Raptors fan after the fact. While it's happening, look, I'm never going to root for a loss as it's happening. After the game, I'll look at this and say, maybe that was the best outcome, though. But what do you think? Give me your thoughts and opinions in the comments if you're watching the post-game show after the fact. But regardless, if you enjoyed the stream, make sure you do send us a like, drop a comment, your thoughts on the game, and subscribe to the channel for more Raptors content just like this wherever you're watching. We'll see you again next time for some more of it.